On this episode of Destination Dare, after completion of the beach nourishment project, the town of Duck looks at what's next for beach improvements. The town of Southern Shores presents a conversation with former Fire Chief David Sanders about the history of the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department. The town of Kill Devil Hills provides a look at some of the improvements that have been accomplished recently. The Town of Nags Head takes a look at their year-end report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2017. The Town of Manteo recently completed a marsh restoration project to help protect the shoreline along Shallowbag Bay. The Dare County Board of Commissioners is working with the College of The Albemarle to improve campus facilities here in Dare County. Now that beach nourishment has been completed in the town of Duck, the town is planning some projects to continue to protect the beach and improve access.
We're here today to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on with the completion of our beach nourishment project toward the end of June 2017. Now that the project's completed, we have a variety of things that are going to be going on during the upcoming year that we wanted you to know about. With the completion of the project, we now have a larger dune with a greater slope going down the side of it, and our council identified that there were some needs that needed to be accommodated for beach access down that larger dune. So our Duck Planning Board and Town Council evaluated a variety of different ways that people could be accommodated coming down the dune, and decided for the time being that they're allowing a beach access matting like what you see behind me here. Council has taken a look at some other options. At this point, they're looking at just seeing how the dune and the beach are shaped by the wind and water, and they plan to evaluate this further as they see what those changes are, and will consider other forms of beach access in the future if necessary.
Following the project, we installed a row of sand fencing along the entire nourishment area, and as you can see behind us, the sand fencing is doing a great job of accumulating sand, and so we want to add to that in mid-November. The Town Council has authorized a second row of sand fencing to be installed east of the existing that we just recently installed, about 15 feet down the dune, which will help to further accumulate the sand that has been accreting, as you can see behind me. And we're also hoping that some owners will buy into this as well and supplement further with potentially a second row between ours and possibly a fourth row east of our eastern sand fence row. In addition to that sand fencing, we also expect to have a contracted planting occur in mid to late November, and we are also trying to supplement that planting with a volunteer-based program that will be funded by the town and planted by our volunteers. Planting will begin mid to late November, and then the volunteer program will continue throughout the winter as volunteers are available. So if you're interested in volunteering to help this cause, please feel free to contact me at 252-255-1234, or you can email me at scross@townofduck.com.
So now that beach nourishment has been completed in Duck, what we do post-nourishment is we come in and we do post-construction monitoring surveys. And those profiles are spaced about 1,000 feet throughout the entire town of Duck. And we'll use those and compare those to the pre-construction surveys, which are also 1,000 feet. Then we also have those profiles that were done during construction. And those were done immediately before they placed material and immediately after. So we have 4 sets of surveys that we can go back and take a look at and immediately see where some of that material is moving to. And then we can also do that annually, and that allows us to possibly make adjustments if needed in the future.
So the beach nourishment project is something that will evolve over time, and the town of Duck is taking appropriate steps to evaluate things that we need to do to make sure that the project works for everyone.
David Sanders, a former fire chief in the town of Southern Shores, shares the history behind the growth of the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department.
The culture of a volunteer fire department is unique and can be quite challenging to cultivate. Volunteers aren't tied to the department by salary or benefits. Most are driven by love for their community and the desire to serve. Through encouragement, coaching, and vision, they can be led to be what they truly are, unpaid professionals the community can depend on. From July 1st, 1990 to June 30th, 1997, David Sanders was the chief of the Southern Shores Volunteer Fire Department. The preceding story is a history of the department and the efforts led by Sanders to propel the department's technology, community involvement, and infrastructure into a thriving and highly rated volunteer fire department.
Now was in a perplexing position of trying to figure out what a fire chief was supposed to be and where the fire department was at and how it fit in with the larger fire service community in Dare County. I believe it was Doug O'Malley that pointed out to me that there was a fire chief's handbook, which I ordered quickly. Ultimately, over the next 2 years, we developed what became basically a 7-point set of goals. We knew we were going to come up to an insurance services organization inspection at some point, that we wanted to improve the fire rating for the area, which at that time was a 9/5S, basically a rural fire department. But there were a lot of things that had to be done. Started checking, we had no records for hose testing, we had no records for pumper testing, we had no records for hydrant testing. In order to be prepared for an ISO, we had to have 5 years of those records. So it was a long-term commitment to make those changes. The fire officers that we had got behind it, the membership got behind it. We're talking about a lot of work for volunteers, many of whom worked or semi-retired and worked. We were blessed with a number of people that had the time, that were fully retired. Still, it was a lot of work to consider given the limited number of times that we could get together, which at the time was twice a month. Out of that came the idea of producing a support group. They took over a lot of the testing procedures. We put in a couple of computers, started using a database. This is in 1992. Established a line item budget, which helped with the maintenance. Then we knew how much we were spending, what we were spending it on. We realized that we needed to upgrade and update the fire apparatus themselves. We had to come up with an SOP manual, which a lot of the local departments helped with, but before that, our main SOP was one memo that was set on the wall at each station, which was to not park an apparatus too close to the chief's car. Chief Keenan had both doors at different scenes of his Blazer bashed in by backing up apparatus. So that was our primary memorandum and SOP in that department at the time. But we modernized, we changed to a standardized form of training. Ultimately, in '96, we felt that we were confident that we could pass and get a reasonable rating on the ISO program. Volunteer departments are limited pretty much to the lower ratings because very few of them could achieve anything above or beyond a 6. The ratings ran from 10 to 1, 1 being the highest. We were hoping we would get a 6. And the reason for that was that's where you got the optimum rating for the insurance for your local citizens. The situation was if we could get a 6, it would be a big drop in their insurance policies. For every $100 that the town spent on the fire department, the benefit to the improved property owner would be about $300 a year. You know, that was a very lucrative position to try to shoot for. As it turned out, we were really surprised when we were classified a 5. And we were just pleased as we could be of what we had been able to do. And of course, the department has continued along that same vein. To my amazement, I believe it was last year, they achieved a Class 3 volunteer fire department. I've since tried to figure out how many Class 3 volunteer departments there are in the state. I can't even come up with that answer. But it has to be pretty rare. And they've done it over the last several years without increasing the budget. People need to know that their volunteer fire department saves not only lives and property, but saves their tax money. Again, you know, the core of a fire department is its people. And the core that is providing the service in this community is not paid.
The town of Kill Devil Hills has been hard at work making some improvements to facilities that will provide added enjoyment for many of the town's residents.
Hi, my name is Ross. I'm with the Building and Grounds Department with Kill Devil Hills. We maintain all the town facilities and all the grounds, the beach accesses, sound accesses, and the 3 parks and Meekins Field. Starting with this budget, we've started 3 new projects in the town. First one was Aviation Park. We've added a new play set, made it larger, included swing sets this time. At Aviation Park, we also put in a new hockey rink. After Hurricane Matthew, the hockey rink was damaged beyond repair, so we've had it redesigned. Hopefully, in the event of another hurricane, it will not be damaged. We've also made improvements on the design so that more activities can be done inside. We've changed the boards, so now they're better for more sports. After Hurricane Matthew, we went to FEMA and they have covered the cost to do a total rebuild on the hockey rink. At Meekins Field, we resurfaced the tennis court. We added Pro Cushion, which is an underlayment, so the tennis court has a little bit more give to it, and we're hoping that it'll hide cracks that form over time much better than the old surface. And we've added a fountain at Aviation Park in the Frog Pond. We've had some fish kills in the past, and hopefully with the aeration, we will prevent that from happening in the future. The Building and Grounds Department with the Town of Kill Devil Hills, we're always trying to improve areas and make facilities better for the citizens of the town and the visitors.
In the last fiscal year ending June 2017, the town of Nags Head accomplished a number of objectives. Here's a brief review of those accomplishments.
My name is Cliff Fogren. I'm the town manager for the Town of Nags Head. This annual report takes a look back at some of our achievements by year end June 2017, all set by the guidance and direction of our Nags Head Board of Commissioners. We continue to try and do a good job for the citizens and visitors of the Town of Nags Head by managing its services and spending tax dollars wisely. 2 examples of that are beach nourishment and Dowdy Park. We've started planning for our next phase of beach nourishment, which we plan to implement in May of 2018. The beaches are obviously our economic provider, very important for our economy, not only for the economy and for the visitor, but also for protection of our infrastructure and properties. We're very excited to have opened up last year our first phase of our Dowdy Park planning. This coming year we'll implement phase 2. Dowdy Park was a process that involved much community input and support to accomplish what people wanted to see in our newest open space. And of course our staff and Board of Commissioners worked mighty hard to see it to fruition. Besides those 2 main projects, we worked hard on many other projects and services throughout the year.
This past year, the administration worked closely with FEMA to administer the Hurricane Matthew post-storm beach restoration project. Human Resources implemented safety meetings after every employee-involved accident to discuss methods for preventing or eliminating future incidents. In addition, HR instituted a new performance review process, which resulted in employees setting performance goals for the upcoming year. The town was awarded a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association. The certificate recognizes governments that publish easily readable and efficiently organized reports. The town will continue to submit this financial report yearly. We pride ourselves on a high property tax collection rate, 99.997%, which means only $196 went uncollected. Admin Services continually strives to improve customer service. Compared to 192 water cutoffs in 2013, there were only 124 this past year. In addition, the town had no water write-offs for board approval. This year, the police department, with a non-cash matching grant, purchased a radio repeater for Nags Head Elementary School. This repeater allows first responders to use their radios inside the building. Police officers also began carrying naloxone to reverse opioid overdoses, which was successfully administered 3 times. The department also hired a drug recognition expert who is only one of 140 in the state and the only officer east of Greenville. The IT department researched and launched a new financial software solution this year, which required significant preparation and installation to ensure a smooth transition to the new process. The Fire and Rescue Department focuses on reducing risk. Throughout the year, we provided many services to Nags Head. These services target education, training, prevention, as well as help to familiarize the community with the overall mission of Nags Head Fire and Rescue. The department responded to 1,116 fire and medical responses. Ocean Rescue conducted 295 water rescues with no drowning deaths. In addition to rescues, the department provided special needs assistance to the community. For example, the beach wheelchairs were on loan 338 days of the year. This year, the Planning and Development Department obtained grants for the second phase of Dowdy Park, which will assist in installing additional features to the site. The department also completed the design for the new Bonnet Street Public Bathhouse, which has begun construction. In June, the state's flood mapping program released preliminary flood maps for Dare County. The department reviewed the maps and continues to disseminate information about the program. The total refuse collected by the Public Works Department increased by over 338 tons, a 4.1% increase over last fiscal year, with 4,390 residential tons collected and 4,202 commercial tons collected. After much public input, the sanitation schedule for the entire town was reworked to decrease the amount of carts sitting by the road and to better address sanitation needs. In October, Public Works used its own forces to quickly collect Hurricane Matthew debris. The storm brush collected was chipped and reused by the town and its property owners. The town's stormwater management program is funded by a 1% property tax. Significant projects this year include drainage inventory mapping and developing a reference manual to help with preparing on-site stormwater management for residential development. Drainage maintenance continued to be a high priority, with Public Works removing vegetation and sediment as well as trimming the right-of-ways.
As you can see, our dedicated staff was busy last year providing services. It's not an easy task when we have such a diversity of year-round residents versus visitors. But we're up to the challenge, and we want to make sure that we're providing the best managed municipality that we can, and that when people say Nags Head, they say it with pride.
Coastal resiliency is a priority in the town of Manteo. With the help of volunteers, a marsh restoration project using recycled oyster shells is helping to protect the shoreline along Shallowbag Bay.
We're here in beautiful downtown Manteo working on a marsh restoration project. We've been at this for about 4 years. We pick marsh locations throughout town where we've had considerable erosion over the years. And our goal is to take oyster shells that have been used and people are just throwing away. We put them in bags and we get groups of volunteers to come out and we sort of place them along the edge of the marsh shoreline. Technically it's called a revetment, and the idea is that when you put the shells in, that helps lower the erosive velocity from boat wake and wind-driven energy, and that just kind of helps the marsh stop eroding. And then it also provides a substrate where the rhizomes and the roots from the marsh plants can grow through, and we're hoping to regenerate some of the marsh edge. The reason we chose here, downtown Manteo, is that it's actually a town-owned property. It's adjacent to the location where we bag the oyster shells, so logistically it's a kind of an easy project. We've done projects in the past where we've had to get boats and transport them to shorelines that were further away. But this is just an area where we've been trying to get some grants to rebuild the town's docks. We've been trying to do some things to regenerate the marsh, so it was kind of a good fit.
We have a real active group of volunteers who are dedicated to this. We had a group of students from the University of North Carolina. We had local Boy Scouts, and our private sector partners, Quibble and Associates, were here to help today too.
Working at the aquarium, we're passionate about, the marine environments and protecting our resources. So this project really spoke to us as a group. The aquarium's really trying to get out there a little bit more and be more involved in community events and being a presence to show that we really do support the initiatives that are already in place in this community.
These coastal marshes provide stormwater filtration. They provide the interface for the food web, for our seafood food web. All the detritus that's generated in the marsh ends up, and it's the backbone of everything that we like about these coastal waters, all the fish, all the shrimp, all the crabs. So the more marsh, the better.
Just give a shout out again to all our volunteers. This would not be possible without the community getting behind this. It's real innovative, especially for a town this size, and we hope to be able to make some significant progress in slowing the tide of erosion and reestablishing the marsh grasses, and hopefully to reestablish oyster colonies here on the shoreline of the town of Manteo.
So we've been at this for 4 years, and we're going to continue to do this. We're going to pick locations in downtown Manteo. We're going to continue probably twice a year to ask for volunteers to come out and help. We've got a big dredge project coming up for downtown, and we're going to have a lot more locations where we can place more oyster shell bags, regenerate some more marsh, and do some real good for water quality in Shallowbag Bay. So we're looking forward to more events.
The Dare County Board of Commissioners is working with the College of the Albemarle to provide better facilities to help meet the needs of the county's citizens. Here's an overview of what's in store. The College of the Albemarle Dare County campus is preparing to move into an exciting new phase thanks to a statewide bond referendum and assistance from Dare County. In March of 2016, voters approved the North Carolina Connect NC Public Improvement Bond. As a result of that referendum, the College of the Albemarle was able to work with the Dare County Board of Commissioners to bring approximately $1.5 million of state bond funds to the table. Dare County has agreed to include the COA Dare campus in its capital improvement plan and provides $7 million towards the project.
My board, along with a group of their board, met, and we obligated just recently a CIP. And the critical piece here is building facilities that will be state-of-the-art, that will be a nice place for our students to come and earn their associate's degree.
A public forum was held at a recent Dare County Board of Commissioners meeting to allow the public to provide input on what community needs COA might address with the project. Currently, the COA Dare County campus is spread over 2 campuses on Roanoke Island. The goal is to consolidate facilities and improve space for COA to provide more programs to contribute to the Dare County economy and provide skills-based technical opportunities for our citizens.
The scope of the project is to build a new COA campus, all consolidated in one place on this property, and take down what you see behind me. It's old, it's below the base flood elevation. It has flooded repeatedly. It's a maintenance nightmare for us. And under the North Carolina statutes, anytime a county hosts a community college, the county is responsible for the facility and the maintenance of the facility. So if we're going to have COA in Dare County, the county will build it and the county will maintain it, and we'll have a nice new facility here that we can all be proud of.
The College of the Albemarle serves a 7-county area and has been offering classes in Dare County since 1969.
The relationship working with Dare County has been fantastic. The college is extremely pleased with the effort Dare County has put into education in general. Dare County has been a wonderful partner for the college. They provide incredible assets for us here in the county, and now with this new potential for a new facility, I think we've got the opportunity to do some pretty amazing things for Dare County to serve both the residents and the economic development for the county.
Right now, we are paying for 5 different buildings for utilities and aspects of repairs. By having one campus and really 2 buildings, going from 5 to 2, is going to help tremendously economically for the community. We're going to be really excited about this opportunity for our students. Everything revolves around our students. You're going to have a state-of-the-art facility when you go into one building, and everything's right there on that one campus, and that's going to be fabulous for our students.
That's all the time we have for this episode of Destination Dare.